Okay, so the Allagash Philanthropy Program can kind of be broken down into two groups. Our recently formed Community Grants Program, and then the Tribute Series of beers. And the first in our Tribute Series was the Victoria Ale. We started brewing that, I think, about 8 years ago. This is probably the 8th season for 2013. And we raise $1 a bottle for the Victoria for restoration of the Victoria Mansion, which is an extremely important landmark in the city of Portland. So when we were first approached by Victoria Mansion, we started trying to think, what would be a good theme for this beer? So a few of us went over to the mansion and got a tour, just basically looking for inspiration for the beer. And one of the things we noticed throughout the tour were references to Bacchus, the wine god. And so we tried to think of a way to kind of do almost a hybrid between beer and wine to incorporate that wine element that we saw in the mansion into the beer. And we did that by, of course, gathering local Chardonnay grapes for the beer and adding those to the mash after they were crushed. And we also ferment the beer out with a wine yeast. So in some ways, it kind of is a beer-wine hybrid.
My name's Tom Johnson. I'm proud to be the director of Victoria Mansion, what is widely recognized as probably the most opulent survivor of pre-Civil War domestic architecture. It's a wonderful museum down in the heart of Portland, Maine. We've been affiliated with Rob Todd and Allagash for 7 years now. It has been a very nice collaborative effort. Allagash brews Victoria Ale, of course, and for every bottle sold, has donated $1 to the mansion. And it has given us a tremendous boost in being able to use that funding for restoration projects and the preservation of this site.
So the second beer that we did in the Tribute Series was the Victor. And with the Victor, we work with the St. Lawrence Art Center. And that's kind of a different spin on the beer-wine hybrid. For that beer, we've used a red grape. We've used, depending on availability, used different varieties of grape each of the years we've brewed it. So the beer's been subtly different each year, almost like different vintages. And for that beer, we also use a slightly different malt bill, and we ferment out with a wine yeast as well.
My name is Julia Kirby, and I'm the development director for St. Lawrence Arts. St. Lawrence Arts is a theater and performance space, a multi-use space that was founded in 1997 by the Friends of the St. Lawrence Church. The church was in a state of deterioration when a group formed to save it with the ultimate goal of opening it as an art center. So Victor Ale came onto the scene, and since that time we have had a donation from Allagash that has grown starting at about $2,500 to well over $10,000. And it is an amazing donation, especially for a small theater like ours that really relies on donations and the support of corporate sponsorships.
So brewing these beers over the years has been a lot of fun. Number one, it's a way for us to give back to the community that's always supported us in the 18 years we've been in business. And it's also a lot of fun just from an innovation standpoint for the crew at the brewery. Every time we brew these beers, it mixes it up.
My favorite part is the destemmer. That thing rocks. It's just cool to toss a bunch of grapes in the top and have the stems fly out one side and the musts get collected in buckets in the other.
I love just the hands-on nature of having these grapes. We get them picked on one day and the very next day we use them. So, you know, having a totally different raw material here in the brewery is pretty neat. The fact that the esters that are produced by the wine yeast and just the general tannins and flavors and fruit flavors from the grapes being able to come through in a beer is pretty unique. I mean, there's not many beers like this out there. I think the baseball bat is probably the most important thing we use anywhere here in the brewery, actually. That Louisville Slugger bat is very important, and the type of wood it is, yeah, that's super important.
Yes, I have a lot of baseball bat experience, which is why I was selected for this. Cheers.